Oh, wait.
Of course, he does that after I hit the go button. Welcome, everybody, to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and with me tonight is our very special friend from out west, Scott Greene. Scott, welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thanks, Dave. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Man, I'm excited to have you on the podcast here, and we're gonna have some fun, dude. So we got a couple people hanging with us on the YouTube live. So if you're watching this live, feel free to participate, ask any questions you want of either me or Scott or both of us, and we'll get to them soon. We'll ask stuff. So Scott, what's new in the world of Three Gun, my friend?
There's not a whole lot new, just keeping busy, shooting a lot, and trying to stay ahead.
So you're lying, first off, and I know that you have a hand injury. What's going
on? It's more tennis elbow, shearer's elbow, whatever you want to call it. It's not that bad. It's getting better. Started taking some different vitamins people recommended, and I'm carrying rubber bands on my wrist so I can just put them up on my fingertips and stretch them out.
Oh, okay.
That little reverse motion, So yeah, I just had that on my wrist
so instead
last
of
week.
The squeeze motion, this is the expand motion.
Yep. So I just kept that on me, and every now and then I'll just pump out a handful of reps, opening my hand up.
So how did this happen? How did you notice it happen? What's the start of this?
Well, I noticed it about 3 weeks ago. It started getting a little tender.
Like your elbow? Like your elbow's just like tender to move or tender to touch or what?
Not to touch or move, but when I grabbed things and lifted anything with some mass behind it, I started feeling a little tender and some sharp pain. So I did a little bit of research and didn't even know that shearer's elbow was a thing. I'd seen people talk about it before, but I had never experienced it. And now I know what it is, and it sucks, but it's getting better. I should be gone another week or two. I'm not worried about it.
I think it's more commonly a USPSA thing, right? Because it's one gun specific, and a lot of dudes that are like real into it seem to do a bunch of dry fire.
It could be that. I did notice I did up my live fire practice, and I had been on the road for 3 weeks in a row. So that was right when it started hurting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took a little break. Took a week off last week, and I'm going to do a little bit of live fire this weekend, but nothing really major until the following weekend.
Got it. All right. So if people are kind of feeling a little twinge in the elbow, then rest is the protocol?
How
do you mitigate this?
Necessarily. So I've been talking to a bunch of different people about it, and basically you want to work the opposite motion. And so I've been doing reverse curls and spread my hand open, and then ice, a little bit of massage here and there, and I've only been doing that for about 4 or 5 days, and now it's it's 90% better than it was. So
good to hear. I was worried.
Yeah, me too.
Like you might have to pick up like shit. I don't know what's something you can do without using your hands.
Mini golf. I can go one-handed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, competitive mini golfer Scott Greene is on the podcast today.
Yeah, I was trying to kick the crap out of Sean Burrows last year. Oh, yeah. This too. Oh yeah.
Nice. All right, dude. Well, there's more going on in the world of Three Guns. So a couple days ago, you shot me a text message and you're like, "Hey, did you hear Josh Fralick's most recent podcast?" Which Josh has his own podcast called Addicted. If you're not subscribed to it, check it out. And I had not heard it. And you're like, "Well, you better check this out. We can go to the transcript, but let me know if I'm getting this wrong." And you're like, "Oh, you got to check this out." So I went and listened, and I was kind of surprised what I heard. And I think you were as well. So what did you hear? And I'll tell you what I heard, because I've talked to quite a few people since speaking to you. And by the way, Josh is going to be on the podcast tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central. So we're gonna talk to him as well. But want to get your perspective on what you think you heard, and I'll tell you what I think I heard, and then we'll talk to Josh tomorrow and see if all that matches up.
All right. So my initial response was I didn't understand what I heard. I had to pause it and go back and listen again.
Yeah.
And should we actually say what he said?
Yes.
Okay.
So for people that that are listening may not have heard the podcast, I want you to give like a little bit of background on what he said on the podcast.
So Josh is a very hardworking man. He dedicates a lot of time and a lot of his effort and energy into shooting and his career in shooting. In his mind, to put in the amount of effort required to be the best at what he does in 3-gun, he does not think there's enough time in his day to get him there. So he's going to shift his focus. He's not going to leave 3-gun or shooting. He's just going to shift his primary focus to shooting PCC and becoming the best PCC shooter he can. He's not going to give up a 3-gun at all, but he's going to put it on the back burner and focus primarily on PCC.
Huh.
As I understand it.
All right.
Yeah, so I heard that, paused that, rewound it about 4 or 5 times, and then sat there for about 5 minutes with my jaw on the floor. And I wrote this long message to him, and not super long, but this message to him in a text. It took me probably 20 minutes to compose it because I didn't know what to say to him. So I was in shock. You have this image of a guy who's at the top of his game, and he trains so super hard and dedicates so much time and effort. And then, what was it? Let's see, 17 months ago, so about a year and a half ago, he brought me. Majority of the reason why I shoot open was because of Josh. He asked me to come shoot open, and so I did. And now I spent 17, 18 months, chasing a guy or trying to come after a guy. And because you want to play with the best, and in my mind, he was the best at the moment. And all of a sudden now he's shifting his focus. It was a shock.
Yeah. So Josh owes you $11,000 is what I heard.
$11,000? Oh no.
For open gear. That's what I heard.
No. No, I totally get his point of view. You can only dedicate so much of your time before you start hurting your family and your job and your mental health. To find the limit is not easy for most people. Some people haven't found it yet. He found his, and he's tapped out on hours in a day. So
that's interesting because from an outsider perspective, he's not doing bad. So like I'm still watching him excel in matches and place where a lot of people would want to place and a lot of people dream about placing, and then a lot of people are putting the work in now to place. And then it's weird. And like I hear this from like a lot of the top shooters, like, oh, I shot a shit match and didn't shoot the match I wanted to. It was all bullshit and it was the worst match ever. And you're like, oh, you were third, so I guess I'll just go over here with my 45th and So I don't know, maybe I just don't have that gene or something like that, but it's difficult to understand from an outsider's perspective, and especially when you're talking about like bro, this is May, this is like an early part of the season here. So what was it? He shot Grands with you, right?
He did, yeah.
USSL Grands, which is what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, so he was down there, and he didn't look at his best. I've seen him shoot way better before. We all have, but he didn't look bad. He just looked a little, not quite comfortable. But it wasn't anything that I thought. I had no idea what was going through his head at the time, obviously. But you can never know what someone else is thinking.
Yeah, and you never know someone else's situation too. Like it's easy for us to give Josh a hard time because he's our friend, and we want to. It's like, hey, we're real passionate about this thing over here. Let's. I wish you were passionate about it too and come play with us,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So it's tough balance between those two things, and also like, bro, shut up and play, get back over here. So it's tough.
If I want to be real selfish about, his choices, I want him to keep shooting open so I can keep playing with him.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's not all about that. It's about his life and what he wants, and if that's gonna have him or create a better life and a healthier life for him and a more satisfying life, then who am I to say no?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying the healthier life thing. I think he should just stick with it. Stick with it until he die.
Yeah. So back on the selfish thing, about me being, sad that he's not gonna be. He's not gonna compete still. He's not gonna be shooting the quantity of matches that he has in the past. I used to keep, and I still do keep, this picture on my desk of him on the cover of Front Sight magazine.
Yeah.
On my desk every day. I see this as motivation. It's sitting there. It's been there for over a year now. About a year now.
Yeah. Huh. All right then. Well, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to chatting with Josh tomorrow and seeing what he has to say about it. But it's disappointing because Amax called it a couple months ago that this is the year of open. And there's been like this mass movement from like a ton of good tack shooters to shoot open. And I think Josh is part of that. And I think you moving to open is part of that. And watching you two dudes duke it out with each other is part of that. And I was excited for the future of three gun from a guy who makes his living talking about three gun. So I was pretty pumped for that. And now it's just like kind of like
it's not like the world is collapsing around us. It's just
no, I mean, no, the world's not collapsing around us, but it's also one of those things where I don't know, dude. I mean, it's I don't understand how second is that bad. And like I've talked to you before, and like you, it'll ruin your next month, right? Until your next match if you get second, right?
Oh yeah.
And like I don't fucking get that. So I struggle with the perspective. Like I really want to understand, but I don't get it.
Yeah. It's not so much, where you finish. It's just you plan to train to, beat people, or not so much win the match, but to, prove that you're training harder or doing something better than somebody else. And then if things don't work out and you put in probably hundreds of hours and it just keeps not falling your way, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Change something you're doing.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, but he's like going away.
I don't think he's going to go away in the sense that he's like done shooting three gun. He's just
right.
Probably going to finish this year, like you said, shooting a bunch of PCC stuff, and then I think he's going to miss three, because you can't not shoot three gun. It's too much fun.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what he has to say tomorrow. That'll be a good little talk.
I was going to save this analogy for tomorrow, but since this is the patrons here and tomorrow will be on the main feed, I'll just say it. It's like when you're racing super bikes and your buddy's like, I'm really, I've gone all in on super bike racing, and I'm really enjoying it. And I thought I was going to dedicate my life to it, but now I'm going to race these pit bikes, these little mini bikes. It's like, really, PCC? And there's nothing wrong with like PCC as is, but just like I mean, I don't get it. Like, do you want to go there and just like beat up on the new kids? Is that what the idea is?
I don't have a clue. I mean, I've shot a lot of PCC, and it's fun and great, but I'd much rather. actually, I probably will be doing this in the next couple of months, is start going back to a different handgun stuff, like single stack.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be playing with that again lately. This is different challenges. PCC
Yeah.
is more just a drag race, and you don't have to plan that hard around things.
What? And along those lines, like he should just go shoot revolver because no one's shooting revolver. Those be easy
Well,
wins.
he's got to have a dot still.
You can shoot dot on revolver. I just watched Jerry do it on Hot
Huh?
Shots.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's a high level PCC shooter. I don't know. I'm as shocked as everybody else is.
All right. Well, Scott, I expect you to be watching tomorrow and asking questions in the chat when I have Josh on. And let's move on to the reason that we're here, and that is the USSL Grand Championship match recon. Scott Greene bringing it to us here, and so I'm confused by the name because I saw Grand Championship, and I swear I saw Grand Nationals, and maybe that's just me. Like I'm real into like Turbo Buicks, so I wanted to see Grand Nationals, but I swear this thing has had like 4 different names. Am I wrong on that?
So I think I had the same impression, but it's just 2. I know it was originally the Grand Nationals.
Okay.
Back when it was first put on practice score. Grands became the nickname, and then the real name changed a few months ago to the Grand Championship. I'm not sure the actual date, but the actual match ended up being the USSL Grand Championship.
Got it. So GM Buick sued Pete, and he had to get rid of the Grand Nationals. No, I'm teasing. All right, so you shot the USSL Grand Championship May 16th through the 19th, Pro Gun Club, Las Vegas. Do you ever get tired of going to the Pro Gun Club?
I get tired of the drive to the Pro Gun Club through the middle of nowhere, Nevada.
Yeah, was that like 12 hours for you or something?
Oh no, it's only like 6 or 7, but there's nothing the entire way there.
Oh, shut up!
You pass through like three tiny towns that have a population of like 3,000. You pass by 6 brothels, and then you're there.
Yes. So it takes you 3 days to get there, apparently.
Well, no. I get to pass by Area 51.
Oh, really?
Cool. Yeah, and they actually have an alien brothel attached to a gas station there. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I stopped by and took some photos of some T-shirts they had for sale. I'm going to send you those later.
There's this whole other world of things I don't know about out there, Scott.
Hills have eyes, man.
For sure. All right. Okay, so what was the scoring in the match?
So that's complicated.
Yeah.
So the USSL is the giant umbrella, which covers up the USL, which is the United Steel League, the UPL, United Pistol League, the URL, United Rifle League, and the UML, United Multi-Gun League. All of those 4 leagues fall under the USSL umbrella,
which is the United Shooting Sports Leagues.
Yes.
Right. Yep. By the way, USL. I just thought of this as you're saying it. The only one that does not have a firearm named in it. So it's the Steel League instead of the Shotgun League.
Well, yeah, because they do like Steel Challenge-esque stuff in it, and they can adapt it for shotguns. But yes, yeah,
right. It's conspiracy.
Yeah. So each one of those 4 individual, there are essentially 4 matches inside of one big match.
Right.
And each,
I think we're skipping ahead here, but for myself who had trouble figuring out like what was exactly happening, and for folks watching along here, can you describe like the overall scope of the match, just like real general, because it's not like just a normal 3-gun match or a multi-gun match. It's something unique, right?
Yeah. So this match wasn't what we now consider to be traditional 3-gun, where you shoot multiple guns on a stage. There was some of that involved, yes, but there was 5 stages of all shotgun, 5 stages of all pistol, 5 of all rifle, and 5 multi-gun stages. You shot all those matches individually, and they combined your overall points from those matches into the final scores.
Got it. So there was 20 stages?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that is definitely unique. I think that like harkens back to like the original
Yep.
USPSA multi-gun, right? Because didn't they used to run?
Old school
Yeah.
3-gun.
And this is kind of IPSC-y, right? Because they don't actually do multi-gun, but they do pistol games, rifle games, shotgun games.
You could call it that. I still tasted a very much of a flavor of multi-gun throughout the entire match.
Sure, yeah, I just mean the format. But anyway,
yeah.
it's a unique format. I think it's pretty interesting because well we'll get into why, but I think I think it's a pretty cool thing to make all competitors compete in all the various disciplines. So pretty cool format here. And very unique. Okay. So rule set was USL, UPL, URL, UML.
Yes. And it's not that difficult. So to keep it simple for us, like the rifle league, they kept it to UML style rules of 2 hits anywhere or 1 in the alpha.
Okay.
The only thing that in steel, steel must fall or turn 45 degrees.
Okay.
And then the only thing that the multi-gun was standard multi-gun. The only thing that was different was the pistol match stages, and that they use their pistol scoring, which is kind of IDPA-esque. It just adds time to your total time. So
down points sort of thing.
So a Charlie would be plus 2/10, and a Delta would be plus 6/10 to your stage time.
So it's like super fast. It's not IDPA where you like basically kill yourself by.
It's not nearly as bad. No, you can throw half dozen to a dozen Charlies and you'll be okay. You'll gain 3 to 4 seconds, but we're shooting 20 to 40-second stages, I think, somewhere in that range. So it wasn't that hurtful.
Interesting. All right. Okay, so practice score. Was on practice score?
Yes.
And all right, so run down the schedule, match fee, number of shooters, etc.
All right, here we go. Half day format. So you can sign up, shoot. So we shot Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, half day each day for the actual Grands match. And I can get into if you wish, the corresponding UML championship that happened at the same exact time on some of the same exact stages.
Are we not talking about that?
Those are 2 different matches.
Oh.
The Grand Championship and the UML Championship were happening at the same exact time on the same range, sharing some of the same bays.
Oh.
We can get into that if you want.
Yeah. Is there an appropriate place for us to get probably the flavor? Yeah, let's get through this part here, and then we'll talk about that in the match flavor.
The match fee was $350.
And is that just for the Grands, or is that for both matches?
That was just for the Grands. If you shot both, you got a discount on the second match. I think the discount was down to $125 for the second match.
Okay.
Something like that. And the UML, the multi-gun only match was 15 stages. If you shot that. So you would get 15 more stages, and you could shoot different divisions if you wanted to, and that would only cost you $125 more bucks.
Oh, okay. Did you shoot that?
I'm one of the few who did not.
Okay.
And then number of shooters for the Grands, when it first opened up, Pete capped it at 50 people. He wanted to create the Grand, because if you didn't want to shoot the Grands, you can shoot the UML match that's going on at the same time. He wanted the Grands to be this grand event, so he capped it at 50 people, trying to keep big names and big talent, and those who wanted to compete against the best would shoot the Grands and challenge themselves. And then if you wanted to just shoot some multi-gun, have some fun, you'd shoot the UML championship. Or you could shoot both if you wanted to be crazy, like a lot of guys did. And they shot 30 stages, 30 to 35, depending on what division they were shooting.
Okay. So it's probably a good spot to mention that I've got Jessica running down Pete to get him back on the podcast here to explain like the whole setup to me. Like none of this makes sense, because like he's under the UML USSL halo, there's like 17 national championships, and I mean that's a hyperbole, but I can't figure out like there's no diagram anywhere that shows me what these mean. And to have only 50 people at your grands match and to have it be $350 seems like insane. That's like less than a club match.
Well, the majority of the people who were going to be there were going to shoot the multi-gun only match.
Oh,
The Grands was designed to be just the elite in his mind and have them fight, and he would do Facebook Live following us around and live scoring updates. And then for the regular main multi-gun match, it'd be 15 stages of what we're used to for multi-gun.
okay. All right. So what divisions were recognized?
So in the Grands match, there were only two, TAC and Open. Those are the only two divisions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at your match recon sheet here, and it looks like ladies were scored separately. Is that correct?
They were scored the same, but I just put on the lady winners in there as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's run through the divisions and winners then.
All right. So TAC, you want to do Open or TAC Ops?
Up to you, buddy.
Okay. We'll go TAC. I put it on there first. All right. So TAC Ops, third place, Jeremy Reed, your fellow Texan.
Hey.
Second place was Nils Jonasson, Mr. Arizona himself, and Mr. Kanik himself now. And then the winner in TAC Ops was Nate Staskowitz. Yep.
All right. Well done, Nate. Was the rest of the AMU in the match?
No, Joel Turner was present, but he could not shoot since having his eye surgery 3 or 4 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Gotcha. Did they shoot the UML match?
No. So Nate and myself are like the only two who I can think of who didn't shoot both matches. Nils shot both. Jeremy Reed shot both. Everyone basically shot both except for me and a couple other guys.
All right. So how about Open then?
Open, we had third place. The TAC lady also.
There we go.
Casey Ryan.
Hey.
Yeah. Congrats,
well done, Casey. Good job.
All right.
Good job.
Open in third place was Cody Leeper, a new Open transfer.
No kidding. Cody's an Open.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
He's gonna do something with it too.
Is he?
Oh yeah. Second in Open was Brian Nelson, who's also been playing an Open this year. Love it. And then first place in Open was myself. If you can't see, I just draped a big belt over myself.
Yeah, for those of you listening on the podcast later, Scott's got his big battle belt, which is a
wrestling belt.
Yeah, big wrestling belt. That's a heck of a prize. I like it.
Oh, you can see yourself. Look at that.
Oh, I can. Look at that. That is the sexiest belt I've ever seen when you hold it that close to me. Well, that's amazing. Congratulations, Scott.
Oh, thank you.
Good stuff. All right. So Open Lady.
Open Lady would be the one and only Maggie Reese.
Well done, Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So okay, here you have it. Other opportunities. United Multi-Gun League Championship.
Yes. Those were definitely other shooting opportunities. There's a lot more shooting to be had if you wanted it.
Right. Now, so my perception, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the United Multi-Gun League Championship was supposed to be like the old USPSA Multi-Gun Nationals match, but with a different name, right?
It's just the same time frame as he had always put a match on there, so he wanted to keep a multi-gun match in the same slot as USPSA. Yeah.
Got it. Same slot, same flavor type thing to the multi-gun match, would you say?
I didn't shoot the multi-gun match.
But you may have looked at a stage once, twice? No?
It was difficult, but it's a normal peat flavor for everything. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on. What is the match flavor of the Grands?
Ooh. So that in a single word, I would say balance. You need to have what did I write down here? I wrote it pretty well, I think. A nice even distribution of all the required skill sets. So normally in multi-gun, you can kind of lean towards your favorite gun to compensate for a less a gun you're not as comfortable with, right?
Right. Yeah.
You
For your
can't.
see somewhere else.
Yeah, say you're a little weak with a pistol, you can lean heavy on a shotgun and make up for it somewhere occasionally. You can't do that here. You had 5 stages with every individual gun before you could put them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you shoot him in that order too? Like you shot all the single gun stages and then you shot the multi gun stage, or was it like a normal
Yes.
match where you just round robin?
No, so we shot all the shotgun first, and then all the pistol, and then all the rifle, and then the multi gun.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yep, and everybody shooting the Grands match. This is also why he capped it. Was so every shooter in every division is shooting the same stages at the same time of day. So there's no wind issues or lighting issues or whatever it may be.
Yeah, so basically you have a match of only the super squad.
Basically, yes.
All right.
Let's see. What else did I put on here?
You put in this is old school before my time 3-gun, like we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The original days of the USPSA multi-gun nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a unique challenge. It found a lot of flaws in some guys' games. It helped some others, and it's really kind of cool because, especially with our squad, we had Josh on shotgun day, the world champion shotgun shooter, open shotgun shooter, right there. So, and then I'm pretty solid behind a pistol, and Cody's a monster behind a rifle. So you all have these areas where you can try to get your little bit of lead or get some points back on other people, and you try to balance out and survive other stuff. And it was a very challenging aspect to it.
Yeah, I think that type of concept is like actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would consider you like a better pistol shooter than Josh, and Josh a better shotgun shooter than you, right? So if you're and then like you gave the Cody example. So if you're looking at those for your day, like you're gonna see guys like edge each other a little bit and then eke out those extra points, and then just all who gets the most points in their favorite skill set. But like you said, like if you're proficient in all of them, boom, there you go.
Yeah. Well, jack of all trades, that whole thing. Master of none. Yeah. Yeah.
That is 3-gun, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, so it was unique. And then you had Pete following us, Facebook Live videos and interviews after almost every stage. And, talking to us about scores and where we're at. If we wanted to know scores, he would tell us. And, live updates and interviews telling you what you need to do to get there, what you may have to do to stay there. How do you feel about him shooting this when his strong suit coming up next? How are you going to survive it? It was super interesting.
Huh. Is he going to publish those somewhere?
He's compiling a bunch of stuff together, but yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, right? I can't wait.
Awesome. All right, man. So skills utilized.
Awkward positions. Huge theme.
Really?
Yeah. So I put up a photo. There's this giant tire, like a monster truck tire. Really big tire.
Yeah, you had to like sit in the middle of.
You had to be on or in the tire. You could not have anything outside. So you couldn't lay across it and have a bipod on the outside. You could lay across it, but you couldn't be touching anything outside. So the majority of people fought their way inside the tire and, got sucked down in there to shoot some stuff. And from there, we had, a 100-yard spinner, some long range up on the mountain. We had not a bunch, but we had 2 separate positions where the rifle had to be completely 90 degrees in order to, be able to engage through the port that he had made.
Okay.
And so we had targets out to 150, shooting completely sideways. And then we had targets at 30. We had about 8 hanging clays and some paper at 30 yards while you're prone, completely horizontal with the rifle.
Oh, good times.
Yeah. So if you don't know your ballistics if you didn't know your ballistics on 30-yard holdovers or hold sides, whatever you want to call them, and then 150-yard holds, you were in some trouble.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I don't think I've ever shot past 100 yards sideways.
Basically, the simple way is you hold mag side and high.
Yep, high into the mag is the way I always remember it. But the I don't know what I would do at 150. Hmm.
Yeah, same thing,
Just
just a
have
little
some
more.
practice.
Mm. But then the 30-yard clays, you had to hold scope side edge.
Scope side edge, huh?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because of the
Mm-hmm.
offset. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people took a while to realize that, and it was definitely a challenge. Yeah. You can tell who had practiced and who had not.
Dude, I tell you what, 30-yard clays like seem to eat people's lunch, even with the rifle up and down.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years ago, I was at Trigun, and I
Mm-hmm.
watched people just like hammer a whole mag at a freaking clay that you could like almost touch, and
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty incredible. But we'd shot some of those in Colorado at club matches. They used to call them clay Oreos, and they would fill them with sand and like sandwich two clays together and rubber band them. So then when you hit it, like
Mm-hmm.
the sand explodes the clay instead of just popping a hole in it.
I got you. That's cool.
Yes, yeah, it is actually pretty cool. And we shot a bunch of those, so like it didn't seem like a big issue to me. But I watched that eat like a ton of people's lunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, but yeah. So
Yeah.
close up clays. If you want to screw with people, match directors, close up clays.
Yep. That and then turn the gun sideways, see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's always a good one. Turn the gun sideways.
Yeah. We also had various rooftops. I think there was 2 or 3 rooftops that we shot off of. One of which was about 2 feet wide and 6 feet high. So it was only about this. If you can see my hands, it's about 2 feet
Yeah,
wide, and it's 6 feet high to get up on top of that one. It wasn't terrible, but it was a little different. And then I don't know what he did with the other rooftop, but he must have sat there and played with the angle on this thing for days because no one can get comfy on it, no matter what. Even in the open with all the gear we can bring and use, it's still super uncomfortable.
even with like bags and stuff.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah, and he put this foot ramp or foot step plank. Normally where you put your foot and lean on it or prop up on it and squat on it or something like that. He put it in the most awkward position, so it just kicked you off of where you wanted to be.
Yeah,
It was bad.
I like it. Well, the best / worst roof I ever shot was Generation 3 gun, and the Logan Bills actually had it on their stage, and they looked up what the pitch of a roof was in Missouri, and they built it to spec, and it was both sides, and you had to shoot from one side and then shoot from the other side. And I tell you what, like the roofs that we normally shoot off of are like woodshed roofs, right? So they're like super steep, and they've got like a foothold and stuff. This is just slippery as hell, and like literally, I slid down the back side of it or the front side of it, and the pitch was so hard to get comfortable on and to shoot on that it was eating a ton of people's lunch. And then after every shooter, they complain about it and stuff, and and they just be like, Matt Logan Bill was like, this is a roof. This is a real roof that you would see on like a normal house here in Missouri, which is kind of funny to think about. Like the actual real roofs are the hard ones to shoot from.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, we tend to make things a little easier for us, but yeah. Well, sometimes anyway.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. So intentionally uncomfortable. 25 slug shots.
That was 25 slug shots. There was between I don't know 45, 50, and 85. I think was the farther one. I think there was 2 of those. Yep. Big steel challenge gongs. A couple of them they needed 2 hits each. There were some smaller slugs also, 10-inch hangers, and some hex. I guess you can call them C zones at 50 yards, stuff like that. Nothing terribly difficult, but we shot shotgun on day 1, and day 1 we had probably 30-mile-an-hour winds constantly the whole day. And some of the slugs one of the long slug stages we had the direct headwind. So I've never seen so many slugs disappear into the mountainside before. We'd shoot slugs and then you'd see a hole or a wad come flying back over our heads.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh no, it was bad.
Wow.
You see guys slinging slugs high left, high right, low left. All of a sudden, one hit the berm 300 yards down the bay. You're like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, I brought 50 slugs to that match to shoot 25, and I came home with 4.
Whoa, it's a lot.
A lot of wind and a lot of slugs.
Tell you what, man. So I've shot, slugs like super far away, stupid far away, like 110, 120 yards, where you wouldn't even use a shotgun for that distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've shot, and usually it's those big steel challenge plates, right? That are like 17 by 22.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've shot slugs at like 55 yards on like a 12-inch plate.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather shoot the big plate at 120 yards than the small plate at 55 yards because of the weird accuracy of the slug. It's not like shooting a pistol or a rifle where it like goes where you aim it, kind of goes like minute of pie plate.
Yeah,
what do you think on that?
It's I like them both. I don't like, or I can deal with the C zone at 50. I'm fine with that. Anything smaller, I start getting uncomfortable.
C zone is like my limit. That's where I'm like, cool, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you go smaller than that,
I'm just happy there wasn't horizontal slugs. I would have lost my mind. Oh, that would have sucked.
Where do I hold?
I have no idea. I would have just moved on from that. I'm not playing that. I'm not gonna go test it either. I'm not sending $1 a shot to test that. No, thank you.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then pistol shots out to like 50 yards.
Yep. C zone's at 50. Yeah. Just only 3 of them. Nothing crazy about that. But there was some timing arrays involved with pistol stuff, so it was still challenging.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was small
timing. You mean like swingers and
swingers and activators, and then they had some small 4-inch steel for pistol also. So
nice.
They kept some challenging shots in there, and there were high round count pistol stuff up to, I think everyone was 40 rounds or ish every stage.
Every stage. Oh, that's cool.
Something like that.
It's a healthy amount of shooting.
Yeah, he wanted to keep the scores from each individual match relatively the same, so you wouldn't have the pistol match, finish, because UML score or USSL scoring is time, right?
Right.
Fastest times to stage points. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to have the whole pistol section get done in 50 seconds and have 50 points, where the rifle is 50-second stages.
Yeah, because then you're talking about it not being equal again between rifle, pistol, and shotgun, right?
Yes. So he had high pistol stages. He kept challenging rifle, but not super high round count on the rifle, but it was still very challenging.
That is, one great thing about Pete is he definitely thinks about those kind of details, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he definitely puts a lot of thought into designing the match and the stages themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Good job,
and even with the shotgun stuff, like we could have added more shotgun targets, but he has to consider the TAC guys, how many shells can they carry on their body,
right?
And then not shoot all day long. You can't put out 40 round shotgun stages all day. So
I have 40 round shotgun stages.
I mean, we'd all love that. I would love that, especially in open, but that's different. But that's
two mags.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. So what was the terrain like? Obviously, pro gun club, rocky, sandy.
Typical pro gun club. Giant rocks everywhere. You're pretty much in a quarry. Beautiful mountain behind or right in front of you though. But rocky, dusty, super, super windy. Had a giant dust storm come flying through.
Oh,
shut the range down.
Good.
Yeah. You've seen those pictures from, the East or the Middle East with the big walls of sand.
Yep.
More or less that.
Oh, really?
Well, not as bad as that. I'm not being that dramatic. But it was bad. It was bad. They shut the range down for half an hour, I think, ish, or at least 15 minutes.
Crazy.
Letting that blow through. Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. And then all that sand and stuff gets in all your gear. That's bad.
Oh, everyone threw all their stuff back in their cars.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now you've got some of these bays were out to 300 yards long.
Yep. So the Surefire Institute has their own bay, and inside that bay there are more bays. But yeah, there was a 300-yard bay that's about 75 yards wide and 300 yards long. And then they have a couple other sections which are probably 200 yards long and 100 yards wide. And every one of these bays, we still shot out over the back berms up onto a mountainside for long range also. So we weren't
Got it.
limited to shooting inside just the actual bay.
So did their rules change? They're allowed to shoot over the bays and into the mountains now?
They always could. No, not on that part of the range.
Oh, got it. So there's different parts. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So where you shot that shot show match that one time is where all the long range was and still is.
Okay.
The other side of the range, I don't think you've shot over there yet, is where all the normal bays are, where we still cannot shoot onto the mountain.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So farthest shot, number of long range shots.
Ooh. There was 465 ish for the longest. There were a handful over 400. I think 4 or 5 over, 3 or 4 over 400. Let's see, 20 shots past 200. And another 20 or so between 50 and 150, as well as including those horizontal rifle shots at 150.
Got it.
So there was a good mix of long range in there. Every one of the 5 rifle stages had long range past 200 on it.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. And then, like we said, shotgun slugs out to 85.
Yep. Shotguns to 85. And the pistol was at 50 yards for the longest shot.
Okay. And so how are logistics, check-in, scoring, etc.?
Check-in, super easy. They have a whole building set up for it, and they had signs and sent you out emails beforehand. It is Vegas, so hotels are easy to come by. Flying in there, super easy. You can't miss the range getting there. It's right off the highway. That's pretty much it for the logistics. It's super easy to get to. No complaints there. What else was in that?
Well, we got Chris
scoring.
Martin following along here, and he says, let's go back to the rifle discussion that we were talking about. The clays he dialed up too much. I'm guessing that's magnification, and he ate penalties on those clays, and the damn tire was an echo chamber.
Yeah, that tire was not actually, it wasn't that bad with open, but I'm sure some tech guys had a terrible time.
Yeah.
I just sat Indian style inside that thing and put a bipod on the tire and called it good.
Well, I would have done the same thing just without the bipod, probably. If you
can get your mag far enough for it, I'm not sure. Or if you can get low enough to put the handgun on it, if you're flexible like that.
Or far enough back. Oh, no. Yeah, because of the sidewall. Ooh, that's a good point. Maybe I have to go to 20 round mag. Ooh, I don't know.
I'm happy I shot open. Yeah.
All right. So venue, yep. Vegas, tons of hotels, airport, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You put in here that they definitely use the facility beyond what you thought was possible for that location, which is interesting because you shot like 50% of the matches of your lifetime at Pro Gun Club.
Mm-hmm. That's based off of the fact that they had the UML championship and the Grand Championship at the same time.
Cool.
There was 30 stages on the ground out there, and what normally we fit 15.
Huh. Damn.
Yeah.
So he was just like looking for every little place behind the buildings to shoot.
Well, it turned the same bay into multiple different stages by changing target presentations and all kinds of crazy stuff. The mountain that used to have Pro Gun Club written on it, and all the way to in the valley and the canyon on the right of that, were littered with long range targets. There's like 25 long range targets on the single set of mountains right there
for the United Multi-Gun League match,
the Rifle League match.
Oh, for the Rifle League match.
Yeah, I'm not sure what targets the multi-gun match shot because I didn't shoot it. So.
Right. Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's badass.
Yeah. Just everywhere you look, there's a set of 3, a set of 3, a 2, a 1. There's 3 more here. There's 4 tucked over there. There's 2 more way back over there. Another 2 way over there. I've never seen that many long range targets there ever.
That's pretty cool, dude. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pre-communication. How was pre-com?
Good. All the normal stuff you need, not overly intrusive, like some matches can be. Dates, times, schedules, matrices.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. And then, obviously Pete does his every Wednesday night. He has a live stream video on Facebook where you can hop in and ask him questions. So
yeah, that is kind of cool, especially when you have a match coming up. Do you watch the his live stream on Wednesdays?
I'll hop in and ask him some questions if I have any, and then I'll typically just get the responses I need, and then if I feel like listening to more, I'll listen to it the following day, or if I'm into what he's talking about, I'll stay for the whole thing. Depends.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. How was staff?
Staff was great. Yeah, never didn't have a single problem the whole time. We had a couple of reshoots. Some hit calls were hard for some of the ROS. It's a standard, problems we always have, but nothing bad.
Mm-hmm.
All friendly, all helpful. Mm-hmm.
Good. It's the only thing you can ask for in
right? Yeah.
in staff. Friendly and helpful. All right. So what this is a new match, new format. What's the fun factor?
I loved the different challenge than what we're used to. So I loved having the pressure of trying to keep pace with guys in their strong suits and then trying to gain ground in your own strong suits. I loved it. It was super challenging. It kept you interested. It kept you guessing how so-and-so going to do here. What do I have to do to survive what they're going to do over here? Stuff like that.
I gotcha. All right. So you put it in here. Yes, 3 of the 4 days we only shot 1 gun, but it still felt like 3 gun. So I would say that'd be like kind of a benefit because like sometimes it's kind of a pain in the butt carry all your stuff around all the time. So for 1 day, just carrying the shotgun and the ammo you need might not be that bad.
That was glorious. Yeah. Especially the pistol day. I forget what pistol match. Oh, it's so. I feel like I'm forgetting half my stuff when I have a backpack and that's it.
Yeah. You got your Junko jeans belt pack on.
Yeah, and now my belt
pack.
My belt weighs nothing when I'm walking around with it. Yeah.
It's not bad. Not bad. I like it. All right, dude. Best part of the match recon. Funny things that happen at the match.
There's not a whole lot of funny things that happen at this match.
You wrote camel spider. How is that?
So there was a camel spider. I think it was a camel spider. I've been told it was a camel spider. That was at the Airbnb. So Nils and I are in the backyard having a cigar, and something catches our eye, and it runs below this little flip-flop, whatever this creature we saw was, which you now know what it was. But so it's below this little pink random flip-flop that the previous tenants of this Airbnb had left there. So go over there, flip the flip-flop up, and this, demon spawn comes up and starts looking at me with his little stupid furry legs. And then and then just starts bolting across these bricks on this back patio. I've never seen a spider move that fast in my life. I don't know how to describe it. I can't do it in miles per hour, but it was going quick.
If you had to say like an analogous to like a certain type of dog, would you say it moved like Chihuahua quick, or like Terrier quick, or like Greyhound quick?
Chihuahua. Yeah.
Things are a little fast for their.
But it's still a little spider. I'm not a little spider. It was a big spider. It's probably the size of my phone. Maybe not that big.
So I just Googled are camel spiders in Nevada. Oh my God. So don't click on the Google images. That'll ruin your day.
Oh, is it the wounds?
No, they just show the spiders. It's disgusting. But yeah, apparently they are in Nevada.
Yep, and found one. And then put some Lucas contact cleaner onto it, and it ran away.
Lucas contact cleaner and spider be gone.
Yes, perfect. I've killed black widows with those before in my house here too.
Oh, really?
The contact cleaner. Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta stop doing my dishes with that. Apparently,
I wouldn't recommend it.
All right. So anything you want to add to your match recon of the USSL Grands?
Polish up every gun. Be strong with all of them, and don't rely on other things to make up for weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice.
And then come out there and have fun. It's a lot of shooting.
So
you have questions.
I'm confused at why there was only 46 shooters and how it could possibly be fun at 46 shooters.
Well, the UML match had I don't know the actual number.
No, I get it, but for like this match specifically, like for grands, like how can that be a grand championship if there's only 45 people there, 46 people?
Well, how many golfers play in the Masters tournament?
This is not golf, buddy.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna have
that's a good point.
in his mind, you want to bring in, a top fuel event, and you have to ask Pete about his actual vision for it. But
yeah, I'm definitely going to when he's back on the show. But I'm so confused by it just, and it's probably not anything to say about the match. Just like it's completely unconventional for what we're used to in the shooting sports, right? Like the typical thing is to get as many people there as possible, and if you consider this a top level sport where you're trying to find the best, you still seem to get all the people there. Or if you consider it like entertainment, like Disneyland, you still want all the people there. So I'm just confused why it was limited to 50.
You have to ask him about the reason why he capped it, and then the actual thought process behind the UML at the same exact time as the Grands.
Yeah, I will. I will. This goes on the long list of things I need to ask Pete. I've got a whiteboard just off to the side over here where I'm going to make him explain USSL to me, and I'm going to write it on this whiteboard because for the life of me, I can't figure out like how everything is connected and how all the matches work and stuff like that. And we talked about it before. Even in other matches, like everything's a championship, so none of them matter, right? So
everything's a championship now.
Everything's a championship. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's kind of odd. Well, Scott,
Dave,
would you shoot it again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You shoot it again next year?
Oh yeah.
Can you see doing something like this at like a club match, like on a Saturday? You have you have 4 stages. One's a pistol stage, one's a rifle stage, one's a shotgun stage, and then you have your multi-gun stage.
I wouldn't do it at a local.
No,
I don't think you get enough of the flavor for each thing. I don't think it would come off the same way. I think you would need at least 2 or 3 stages of each gun to get a feel for it.
Yeah, it's probably too much disaster factor, right? Because if you like bone one stage, then it doesn't. I mean, you may have like a malfunction on your rifle instead of like just not being good at your rifle, right?
Yeah, you need a couple. Need a couple.
Okay, well, sounds interesting. All right, Scott, thanks for doing the match recon of the USSL Grand Championship, the inaugural Grand Championship, and always pleasure to have you on the show, man. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, bud. It's great to be here, and I'll see you guys later.
And for those listening on the podcast, he's once again showing us the beautiful belt that he won.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. He's wearing it like Mr. Burns wears that evil pelt.
What's that eyebrow thing people do? Oh, that one.
Oh, there you go. Now he looks like Cruella DeVille.
Okay, I'm done now. Yeah.
All right, take care, buddy.
See you, bud.